Hey race fans, thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Hot for NASCAR. I'm Kaitlyn Vincie, and this week I am contributing to rubbingsracing.com, which I'm very, very excited about. It's a great website, one I check out often for racing news. But first thing, Kurt Busch did take the victory, as many of you know, at Infineon Raceway. His first win of 2011 and his 23rd career win. He utilized a 2 pit stop strategy that actually worked out very well for a race that usually demands 3, and it led him to victory lane, beating out Jeff Gordon by over 2 seconds. So great day there for Kurt Busch. And also Carl Edwards is still leading the points there. Even after Infineon, the teams will travel to Daytona. Both the Nationwide and the Cup guys will be at Daytona this weekend. Nationwide will be competing Friday night. Sprint will be competing Saturday night, so shakes things up a little bit there with the Saturday night racing. But anyways, the next segment is 5 Questions With. This week it is Shea Holbrook. I talked with Shea this morning for over an hour, a very informative conversation. She is a competitive road racer, and she taught me a lot about road racing and sports car racing, things I did not know before, since primarily my forte is NASCAR racing. But either way, she told me she did not come into this sport the conventional way. She said a lot of people are like, oh, my dad or my grandfather was in racing, and that's what originally brought me to it. She actually was a competitive and nationally ranked water skier. Both her and her parents were for quite some time. She said she water skied for about 10 years, and they had the whole setup in their backyard. She grew up on lakes, and it was something she was very passionate about and very good at. But an injury had to make her step back. A back injury had to make her take a step back from that particular career. And a friend of her father's, who was a motorhead, she said, got them interested in racing and the motor sports world. So what happened next is she did the Richard Petty driving experience. She was 15. She was too young to drive. She was a passenger. But she said, I was already in big trouble. I fell in love with it just from the passenger scene. So she now is in sports car touring and open wheel racing, which she has had a lot of success. So what happened was she got a phone call from her father one day. He said, you need to come home right away. I need to show you something. She said she pulled up to her house, and there was a race car in the driveway. At first she thought, oh, my dad got a race car. He said that, that's for you, right? She said she started crying. She was so overwhelmed, very happy, and emotional moment for her. And the guy who sold her father the race car was standing there like, you're going to put this girl in a race car. But it turned out to be a very, very good decision. She was the winner of the Grand Prix at Long Beach, which is one of the most prestigious events for street races. And she is only the 2nd female to be the winner in the World Challenge today. So a huge, huge honor there for her. And as something I think that was very unique, she told me about this particular race at Long Beach, was the car she was using was rented. The car she had originally planned to use, she had gotten collected in a wreck before in a previous race. She said they didn't have the manpower or time to get it repaired and ready to take it to Long Beach, so she rented a car instead. She said she was very nervous about this. It was a race car she was not used to, a track she was not used to. She said, I didn't know how to communicate with my team to make myself and the car better. But one thing she did say is she first had a prayer when she got into her race car for some help, and here's some more things that she had to say about that. When I got into the car, I remember saying a prayer. I just want a break. We've been through so much. I just need one break. And I guess they were answered, because I dropped a second, something got into me, I just started picking people off. I was catching guys left and right. I finished second, and when the first place winner came in, there was a very dramatic speed differential on the front straights, a really big indicator of something wrong. He got disqualified. I don't know exactly why, and I don't care. Second place felt like a win to her, honestly. That race is such a big deal. She said, there are over 120,000 spectators there to witness that moment. But then she ended up being the winner. So she said one of the coolest things about this is that her name will go down in record books forever. So that really is a cool honor for her. And I asked her who one of her motivators in racing was, and she told me Lynn St. James. So she said that Lynn no longer racing, but has definitely gotten to a point in her career where she uses the things she has learned along the way to help other young women racers up and coming get into it. She said it's a part of a way to pay it forward. So I thought that was a really unique way that Lynn gives back to young racers. And Shea said she is definitely a mentor to her, a friend, and a huge inspiration. So a great conversation with Shea. I really enjoyed talking to a racer outside of the NASCAR world, but still a lot to offer to the big picture. You can take a look at more on her at SheaRacing.com. She is also on Facebook as well, and Twitter at Shea Racing. So very strong talent, very driven young lady, and I think that it has a very promising future. She says at the moment she is kind of leaning towards the Indy racing ladder, to climb that ladder and hopefully work towards a full-time career in racing. But NASCAR is certainly not out of the question. So make sure you keep an eye out on her and check out all of her websites and social media outlets as well. So lastly, Day in the Life of a NASCAR Home Track Pit-Reporter is my newest segment. This weekend out at Langley Speedway, we interviewed drivers in the Pro 6 division and the kart racing. Kart racing particularly caught my eye. This is the first time I've interviewed anyone within that racing division, and I thought it was very unique. These race cars are absolutely tiny. I've seen them many times, but this is the first time I've actually been up close to one of them to kind of check out the dynamics of them. A lot of the drivers told me it is crucial to get a drafting partner. The wings on those cars work so much better when you have someone to draft with. So two guys I spoke with were twin brothers, Cliff and John Savage. We did an interview, one on one side, one on the other, and kind of back and forth between the two of those guys. And they had a lot of cool things to say. And they were basically telling me they were always guaranteed a drafting partner with each other. And that racing with a brother relationship has mostly all good things to say about it. But at times, things have gotten heated between the two of them, as it always does with competitors. Brothers are not. But it was a really cool experience to talk with some of those kart racers and check out those race cars, certainly. So a fun weekend at Langley. As usual, I will be there again this Saturday. So make sure you check out more of the photos I always post to my Facebook fan page are from my weekends at Langley. So thanks again for watching, and make sure you check out rubbinsracing.com for all sorts of racing updates, and I'm looking to possibly contribute there pretty often, and very excited for this first contribution to give to them. And make sure you follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook at facebook.com/hotforNASCAR. I'll be chatting with you guys after Daytona.